Luis, thank you very much for being part of this interview.
Oh, Gustav, a pleasure. The pleasure's all mine.
I've known you for quite a bit of time.
Yeah, I know it's been a minute, but it's been a really, really good relationship. So really pleased to be here with you.
Well, Luis, we have a few questions for you that we prepared. We'd like to know something about you that many people might not know.
So here's one that is pretty interesting. I'm a broadcaster also. I went to school not only to study business and marketing and all these other things. I actually started out as a broadcaster. So I went to school at the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale and I studied broadcasting. I do have a face for radio, which was where I really started and really enjoyed it. Actually, we covered, it was back in Colombia in South America, and I covered the NBA for Radio Caracol, which means snail, and it was a radio station in Bogota, and we had the rights for the NBA. So I did the coverage of some of the games when Michael Jordan was playing, actually. It was pretty interesting.
Are you a basketball fan?
I had to become one as I started working on that. So it was really good, and I learned a lot about the game. I used to play it, but I wasn't, I'm not tall, so But I learned the rules, and I understood the game, and I had to watch enough that it made it much easier for me to get there.
What a,
From that perspective.
what a fantastic story. Well, most people know AT&T, but what stands out in your mind that people might not realize?
Well, one of the things people don't know about AT&T is AT&T is a pioneer from day one. It's a pioneer company. We have 140 plus years of history from the invention of the telephone to where we are today. And we've been in the forefront of several of things that people don't know, like the first phone call to the moon and things like that, that we were able to do. The first, it wasn't called FaceTime at the time, but it was the first face to face transmission from a video call back in the 50s. So AT&T's been in the forefront of a lot of that communications and technology around. And so, everybody just thinks about wireless, but there's much more to AT&T than just the wireless service.
The service that AT&T provide has an ever greater impact in our lives. How do you foresee the future of phone service within the next decade?
Look, there's a big thing. It's called cadence, and one of the big things that we've realized is people want more speed and more speed and more speed, and it's all related to the latency, which is how fast can you get information to the other side and make it live. A lot of the things that you're seeing with 5G, I don't want anybody to get scared with what 5G means. 5G just means fifth generation wireless, right? And so as we use spectrum from a wireless perspective, what people are getting is more speed and less latency. Latency is how much time does it take for something to download? And it's milliseconds now. And it's going to be even faster. One of the things we will see is much faster devices, much faster speeds coming from the networks. And so, self driving cars, right? One of the key things for those self driving cars is that the latency is very minimal. Because if it takes time for the car to react, people might get run over, right? That's just one of the key things. So that's what we foresee a lot of um, faster speeds, faster in different capacities in your devices. Eventually, we're looking at your documentation, things like that are all going to be in your phone, and so now it's not leaving your home without your wallet. It won't be a problem at all. Today it's not a problem. From you can leave your house without your credit cards. Tomorrow you'll be able to leave your house without any of your documents. So it's more dependency in those devices. At the same time, much more speed and capacity coming from them.
Right. I also feel that there's going to be more and more devices connected and requiring a faster speed. Like you mentioned, electric vehicles. but maybe also new types of devices that we don't really know yet?
So yeah, so like when you look at your home, right, what we call smart devices. So think of where we are today. So today in a later built home, you see your AC is connected, your doorbell, the cameras around your home. Your washer and dryer are connected. What they tell you is if they are going to break, or if they're done with a cycle, or if you left the door open. That's what they're doing today. Um, your fridge is connected, and it's also the same. It tells you if your filter is up to change, or if you left the door open. Do we think that it's going to get to the point that it's going to tell you if you're missing milk? There's already some uh, intent on that, but it is to make people's lives easier in that sense. And the first thing that we're seeing from manufacturers is letting you know that your devices need some type of support before they really break, right? Change your filter, it might break, right? Things like that. So there's going to be more connectivity and information. And, what people are going to be looking for is more capacity. So more lanes in the internet so that the house can operate properly, your office can operate properly. And believe it or not, I can tell you one thing that is really strange is people are using more megabytes and gigabytes, etc., at home than what they're using in the office. So you don't watch TV in the office, or it's all downloaded now. So you don't watch TV in the office. You don't do a lot of things, maybe some video calls and things like that. But at home, you do work a lot of things. So that's what's really impressive. We saw it with the kids doing gaming and things like that. We're seeing that capacity. And then the other thing that is coming that is pretty interesting is called convergence. So for companies like AT&T, we have fiber and we have a wireless network. And so it is about the network itself. So we want to be your internet provider at home. And at the same time, when you leave your home, then you go into your data from your phone. And so everything will be converged or working together.
Change of pace, maybe, for this interview. You mentioned in your article that we should be nice to everybody.
The whole concept of being nice is people like worry a lot about customer service and everything. And it is, if you provide good service, which is by being nice, being polite, being decent, and everything, and having the patience with the people, chances are you're going to be more successful from a professional standpoint. From a business standpoint, nice people that are doing the right thing with the customers and everything tend to get more customers. So you want to go to places where people are nice. Is it 100% of the time? It should be, and that's kind of the goal. That's nirvana at this point in time. But you need to really make an effort and live it by example. Is you can't be rude and expect somebody to like your product even if they need it, right? You have to be nice. Try to go to a restaurant and not be nice to the host and see where you sit. And then go to a restaurant and be nice and see where you sit. It's just, sometimes it's common sense, but, there's nothing common about common sense. It's one of the things that people need to do. Being nice is just, there's too many theories on customer service today. I think that the easiest one is just be nice. And you will solve 99% of your problems right there.
I know it's not scripted, and I can edit it out if you want, Luis. Do you think AI is going to help us be nicer or not?
I think it will. Actually, one of the key things about AI that they're doing, especially with call centers, I'm actually reading a book about this, so it's very interesting that you ask. One of the things that AI is doing is by your usage and the emphasis that you're putting on words and everything, they are learning and understanding if you're upset or if you're not upset. if you have an issue or you don't have an issue, and they are being able to address your issue in the right way using words that they know that you will like. And so, to a certain extent, I think that AI, as it gets smarter, because one of the key things about AI is it continues to learn. And so it learns from the different experiences and it gets better and better and better as it goes. I definitely think that they are going to be able to address the customer's issues as they are going through. In any type of business, from airlines to call centers, everywhere. At least as an entry point today. Today's one of the key entry points if you're chatting or something like that. If it's easy enough, AI will be able to solve it. It's going to get better and better. And it will be able to acknowledge, be polite, emphasize what you need, and take care of you immediately. And those are the key things that people are looking for when they're interacting. So there's tons of possibilities for AI if it's used properly.
You have an incredible position, a powerful position within AT&T, GM, Vice President of AT&T South Texas. Are all the parts of your job enjoyable?
No, like the vast majority is. I'd say all the way to 90%. There's some you know decisions that you have to make regarding personnel or things like that that are not as fun because you affect people's lives or livelihoods. But at the end of the day, there's more good than bad always, and you get to change people's lives in much better ways by decisions that you're making, like adding fiber or putting in a new site for wireless service somewhere that is going to help a community. Those things are very fulfilling. And even working with communities and breaching and helping that breach from the digital divide that we have and making it better for people and give them access to the internet. So you kind of, to a certain extent, even though we are 100% for profit, we also like to help our community because as our community evolves, we evolve as well, and it helps AT&T. And so that is really good for us that we can definitely make a difference in people's lives. And that's, like what I tell you, it's like 80%. And then, you always have some boring stuff that you have to do, then like paperwork and stuff like that. I know this new generation doesn't do a lot of paperwork, but I still have a little bit of paper in my hands that I have to work through, and those are things that are not as fun, but it comes with the territory.
You mentioned community projects. Are there any of them that stand out?
Yeah, we did. We have this concept here in Houston. Actually, it's called Believe Houston. So we worked with something called First Tee, which is a nonprofit that helps youth in Houston, the youth, to play golf and learn how to play golf. And so the kids are, out of the streets and participating with First Tee. So we joined forces, AT&T and First Tee, and we went there and we created a computer room for them, and we gave them fiber or access to the internet and some printers, and so the kids can go into those rooms and do their homework. And so, we're combining sports with access to the internet in a place where they can do their schooling in a safe environment, in a healthy environment, like learning golf. So I'm really proud of that project. And it's been 2 years since we launched First Tee, and it's been a total success for us.
I mentioned that you're GM for AT&T South Texas and Vice President of a very large organization. Does it ever get easier to say, I don't know?
Actually, it does. And I think that comes with age. People think that, they need to know everything. And sometimes once you go through the different roles and areas of responsibility, you realize that you know less. You know what to ask and you know what to look for, but you don't have all the answers. And it makes it much easier to say, I don't know, help me understand why we're doing this, right? In a good way. And that's why you have your team. Your team, you know, they are a team of experts, and the they are the ones that help you and give you enough information so that you can make decisions. And so that's the key. The key is feeling confident enough in which you could say, look, I have no idea what you're talking about. I am going to need you to explain this so that I can make a decision, because at this point in time, anything I'd say is it would be a big mistake. And so once you are comfortable in your own shoes, it makes it much easier.
Everybody likes news. What can we expect from AT&T within the next 12 months or so?
We actually several things. Obviously, for those that are in Houston and around here, we just launched a great product called Internet Air, and our Internet Air product is on those areas where we don't have fiber. We launched an Internet Air, so we're using the capacity that we have on our wireless network, so that people can have internet at home. So that, united with the ACP product that we have, which is the Affordable Connectivity Program created by the government, people can get a really well and good discounted internet service to their home. And it's in areas where today we don't have fiber, so it's good. And actually, it's a modem that you install in your house, you put it by a window, and boom, you have internet. And actually, we have several smaller modems that you can put around the house so that your signal gets diffused all over, and it is really good. And so that's one of the key things. It just launched actually November 1st. I'm really proud about that product. And actually, more fiber for those of us here in Houston, and we're maximizing our wireless network right now. We're 5G. Some of the AT&T customers can see, especially in Houston and in all over South Texas. Actually, you can see 5G plus. So it's what I call like 5G on steroids. It's much faster, and so more to come with that. And those are the new things. One of the things that we did as AT&T is we refocused our company on broadband and wireless, and it's converged our network. So it's all about connectivity and making sure that people can communicate and can connect with each other, and breaching that digital divide that is affecting our communities. So that's more to come from AT&T on that, but that is going to be key for us, for our success and for the success of our communities.
Well, you participate in EXO Leaders since the very beginning, almost the very beginning, and you've written a lot of articles. Why is it important for you to continue writing in EXO Leaders?
For me, is one of the things that we always have to be paying it forward to the people. And I don't owe a lot to my bosses and the people that have helped me in my career. The way I pay back to them is by giving information, sharing my experiences, sharing the things that I have done with others. And I think that EXO Leaders is one of the key areas where we can always go, and by reading the essays, which makes it much easier because it's an essay and you can hear the story of what somebody did about something. And the great thing is there's several topics. So you can always find something that you're going through in your business that you can go pull the book and go like, oh my gosh, I'm doing a merger. Let me see who has done a merger here that has information. And, you know, since the beginning of the book, we would look at things that others are doing, especially if you look, I participated in the EXO Leaders version of the book in Mexico. And for me, it was really good because we were new to the country. And so as AT&T, we walked into Mexico at the time, and I needed to see what others were thinking. And that book was a blessing because we could go in and see what, you know, the CEO of X company is doing, or the HR person of this other company was doing. So it gave you an idea what they were doing with their personnel, what type of new benefits they were offering, what type of new technology, because it even includes things regarding technology, people, etc. And it actually helps you understand the culture and how the culture works. So for us, it was not only great because we were paying back to the community or the business community in that sense, but at the same time, we were feeding off of it, which makes it invaluable to people.
Well, Luis, thank you very much for supporting the book with articles, also with, that the books that you've bought, and you bought many, have gone
Yeah.
to scholarship. So thank you very much for that support. And thank you for being part of this interview.
Oh, no, thank you for having me anytime. I really enjoy this. As always, it's really good to hang out with you.